The night sky over the Persian Gulf shattered as a coordinated salvo of BGM-109 Tomahawk cruise missiles breached the horizon, their low-altitude flight paths carving through the dense humidity of the Strait of Hormuz. In the early hours of this morning, the stillness of the Iranian coastline was replaced by the rhythmic thud of precision-guided munitions finding their marks. From the subterranean missile silos of the Central Plateau to the hardened naval pens of Bandar Abbas, the mechanical shriek of incoming ordnance preceded flashes of white light that momentarily turned night into day. Dust and the acrid scent of ozone filled the air as concrete fortifications, designed to withstand standard bombardment, buckled under the kinetic energy of 500-pound warheads. This was not simply a reactive skirmish. It was a calculated attempt to dismantle the remaining operational spine of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. According to senior officials at U.S. Central Command, the United States Navy launched 50 Tomahawk cruise missiles from a combination of guided missile destroyers and a Florida-class submarine stationed in the North Arabian Sea. Military spokesmen stated that the operation specifically targeted 27 distinct IRGC bases, focusing on command and control nodes, drone assembly workshops, and fast attack craft maintenance facilities. Pentagon reports claim that the strikes achieved a 94% success rate, neutralizing key infrastructure that has been used to coordinate recent retaliatory strikes against coalition shipping. Iranian officials were told through back channels that the mission was a direct response to the attempted targeting of the Diego Garcia military base and the continued harassment of commercial vessels in the Bab el-Mandeb. U.S. media reported that the primary objective was to degrade the IRGC's ability to project power beyond its borders, effectively tethering the regime's remaining forces to domestic defense. But the story quickly became far more complicated. Before we break down the technical failure of Iran's air defense network and the specific weapon systems used in this escalation, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss the latest dramatic developments shaping global geopolitics. According to Iranian state media and the Tasnim news agency, the Revolutionary Guard claimed that their air defense systems, including the indigenous Bavar 373, successfully intercepted a significant portion of the incoming aggressor missiles. Iranian military authorities stated that the U.S. strikes largely hit civilian infrastructure and non-operational storage sites, calling the operation a failed theatrical display intended to boost American morale. Technical context provided by regional analysts suggests that while Iran's air defense is layered, the sheer volume of a 50-missile salvo is designed to saturate radar arrays, forcing the system to prioritize targets and leaving secondary sites vulnerable. Israeli intelligence sources, however, noted that the IRGC's radar signatures went dark in several key sectors minutes before impact, suggesting a coordinated electronic warfare campaign preceded the physical strike. Iranian officials maintained that the damage was minimal, yet geolocated footage appearing on social media showed massive secondary explosions at the Parchin military complex, indicating that high-value munitions or fuel depots were indeed compromised. Between these narratives lies a complex reality that analysts are still working to understand. What does this wave of strikes signify for the stability of the Persian Gulf? The answer is a systematic dismantling of the axis of resistance logistics. The 27 targets were not chosen at random. They represent the connective tissue of the IRGC's regional architecture. By striking the Bandar Abbas naval facilities, the U.S. has crippled the IRGC Navy's ability to deploy the fast attack craft that serve as the primary threat to the Strait of Hormuz. The inclusion of the Mashhad-based drone hubs, some of the most northeasterly targets of the war so far, signals that no corner of the Iranian plateau is beyond the reach of coalition kinetic power. In the context of the 2026 Iran war, which began with the decapitation of the regime's supreme leadership, these strikes serve as a mop-up operation to prevent the decentralized IRGC cells from regrouping. The message was clear. The United States will not permit the Iranian military to retain the capabilities necessary to execute a prolonged war of attrition. The ripples from this operation have triggered a massive cascading effect across the international stage. In the immediate aftermath, Iranian-aligned militias in Iraq and Syria launched a series of rocket attacks against U.S. positions at the Al-Assad airbase, signaling an immediate military reaction from the broader proxy network. Regional governments, particularly those of the Gulf Cooperation Council, have remained in a state of high alert, with Saudi Arabia's defense ministry confirming it intercepted several stray drones entering its airspace shortly after the Tomahawks reached their targets. Global markets responded with predictable volatility. The price of Brent crude spiked by 4% within hours as traders weighed the possibility of a complete closure of the Strait of Hormuz. That spike in energy costs has consequences far beyond the oil pits of London and New York. On the diplomatic front, the United Nations Security Council has called for an emergency session, though U.S. representatives have already indicated they will veto any resolution condemning the strikes, citing Article 51 of the UN Charter regarding the right to self-defense. Domestically, the political reaction in the United States has been sharply divided, with some members of Congress praising the administration's decisive action, while others express grave concern over the potential for a forever war in the Middle East. The United States maintains that these 50 Tomahawk strikes were a necessary surgical intervention to prevent further regional destabilization. Iranian authorities maintain that the strikes were a violation of sovereignty that will be met with a harsh and regrettable response. This latest escalation sits atop a month of unprecedented warfare that has already claimed the lives of thousands and reshaped the security architecture of the Middle East. With the assassination of Ali Khamenei still fresh in the regional memory, and the IRGC now facing a catastrophic loss of infrastructure, the threshold for total regional collapse has never been thinner. The conflict has evolved from a series of targeted assassinations into a full-scale campaign to neuter a regional power. Yet the underlying ideological and political drivers of the IRGC remain intact. Will this wave of strikes remain an isolated incident, or is it the beginning of something far larger? Stay tuned for further updates as this situation continues to develop. And don't forget to like and subscribe so you never miss